Hi, I'm Sylvia from Noni New Creations, and today I'm going to show you how to make our Santa Claus. It comes in 3 different sizes. This is the 5x7, this is the 7x12, and today we're going to do the 6x10. I've printed out the templates, and this design is done in 3 hoopings, and we're going to start with the limbs, so you can either start with the arms or the legs. And then finally we do the body. I've cut out all the pieces, and all the measurements will be in your instructions, so you'll be able to do that before you start. Okay, let's start. I've put the stabilizer in the hoop, and I'm just using tearaway stabilizer for that. And we're going to do the arms first, so it's going to stitch out the mids, the placement line. So that's the placement line, and now we're going to place the fabric for the hands on top of it. I've placed the fabric over the placement line, and now we're going to stitch out color number 2. So we've stitched the fabric, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, as you would do for applique, just trim right near the top, or I should say the bottom really, of the mid. This is the top, so where the arm attaches, because we're going to put some more fabric on there. Okay, you can leave the rest, that's fine. Okay, we'll go back to the machine now. Now it's going to do the placement line for the arm fabric. So it's done the 4 placement lines, and now we're going to put the fabric over it, and then it's going to secure it. So now we're going to remove the hoop from the machine again, and we're going to trim it, and I'll show you how. Okay, you can see these lines, so what we're going to do, we're going to trim them horizontally. You don't have to be really exact, I just trim it so otherwise you get too many layers of fabric. You go straight across, and then you trim it here, and again you go straight across. And you do the same for the other side. Straight across, and then around the stitch line, and straight across again. So, and just trim this up a little bit more. And now we take it back to the machine. The next color is going to do the fur at the top of the arms. So it's going to do the placement lines. There'll be 2 placement lines on each mitt. And it's going to do that for all 4 bits. Okay, it's done that. Now we're going to place the fur fabric on top. So now it's going to secure the fur fabric. Now we're going to remove the hoop from the machine again, and we're going to trim, and I will show you again how to do it. So you can see the fur band here, so we're going to trim right around here, but we're going to leave the side bits and the middle bit alone. So you just go like that and trim it. You go straight across and trim it, just like you would do an applique, except you don't have to be quite as exact. Straight across and then around the stitching, and straight across again. So nobody can see that, so you leave the middle bit intact, and I'll do the same for the top. So you can see I've trimmed neatly around the stitch lines and left the side bits intact because we need that for the seam allowance. Right, we'll take it back to the machine now. So the next color is going to be a decorative stitch around the fur here. So and it's going to do that for all 4 sides, top, bottom. Okay, it's finished doing the decorative stitch, and now it's going to do a center line, and you'll see in a minute why that is. So now it's done the center line, and we're going to remove the hoop from the machine, Right, now comes the interesting bit. What we're going to do is we are going to cut around here and then fold this over so we can stitch it together. So you just cut the stabilizing. Right to the center. Okay, and what we do now is we fold it over right on the stitched line. And then we're going to take the hoop back to the machine and we're going to stitch them together, just like that. So just hold it steady with your hands. So it's stitched it and we can just take it out of the hoop. There. And then remove the stabilizing. And then we're just going to cut all around here. So remove all the stabilizer and then cut. I've removed the stabilizer and you're going to have to cut this. Well, first of all, we'll just cut the edge just a little bit at the top so you can get into it. And then just cut all the way around, leaving a 1/4 inch seam. Right, I've trimmed them all around and I got my hemostats. Grab it, turn it inside out. Get his thumb out. Okay, you do the same thing for the other one, and then you stuff it lightly and put it aside. We're now going to do the legs, and they're done exactly the same as the arms. Right, we're now going to put black fabric on top. And it's now going to secure the fabric for the 4 boots here. So stitched out the 4 boots and we're going to cut right along the top like we did with the mitts. Okay, so I've cut right along the edges like you do applique. And we're going to take the hoop back to the machine and we're going to have the placement line for the legs. So now it's just going to do the 4 placement lines. It's done the 4 placement lines and now we're going to put the fabric for the legs on top. And the next color is going to secure that. We're going to remove the hoop again and then we're going to cut along the lines there and I'll show you. Right, I'm going to cut along here now. At home you can do these colors in the color of your fabric, but I've just done it darker so you can see it good. So just cut along here. Straight across, straight over. Okay, I'm going to do the same with the other side. So it's all cut now. We take it back to the machine and we're going to put the fur color on there. Now we're going to do the placement line for the fur. It's going to do 8 lines. It's done all the placement lines, so now we're going to put the fabric on top. And we're going to secure the fabric with the next color. Okay, now we're going to trim right along these stitch lines. So I'm just cutting along the stitch line and going straight over these things. Okay, so it's all trimmed. Back to the hoop, and it's going to do the decorative stitch. I meant back to the machine. So it's going to do the decorative stitch now. Right, it's done all that. Now it's going to do the center line. And now we're going to cut again and fold it over, and I'll show you how to do it again. Okay, we're going to cut. Very good scissors. Right to the center line. And we're going to fold it over like so. And we're going to go back to the machine and stitch it together. Now when you stitch this, make sure you hold this down flat so the foot will go over the fabric and not under it. Okay. So that's all done now. We're going to remove it from the hoop and take all the stabilizer out and cut it. Right, I've taken all the stabilizer away, and now we're going to cut along the edge. And it's the inside stitching, in case you're wondering. And again, cut the top, just cut a tiny bit off so you have an opening. Okay, and I'm just going to go all the way around. Right, I'm just going to turn them inside out now. and the other one, and then we're going to stuff them. And now we're going to start doing the body. The first color is going to be the placement line. So on the placement lines, when you put the fabric on top, make sure you cover it all. And we start the next color. Next it's going to do the placement line for the beard and the rim of the hat. Put the fabric for the beard on top, again making sure it covers it nicely, and do the next color. Now it's going to do the placement line for the face. So we're going to place the face fabric on top and secure it with the next color. Now we're going to remove the hoop from the machine and we're going to trim, and I'll show you what to trim. Right, first we're going to trim the face. Then we're going to trim right around here and leave a tiny bit extra here and trim around here again. So I've trimmed around here quite tightly towards the stitch line, and I just left a tiny little edge here because you're going to have a seam allowance here, but it'll go inside that line. Okay, we're going to take the hoop back to the machine. Now it's going to do the decorative stitch around the beard and the rim of the hat. It's done all the decorative stitching around the rim of the hat and the beard, and now we're going to do his rosy cheeks. His cheeks are done, and now we're going to do his eyes. Okay, here comes his eyes. He's going to start looking at you any minute there. See if you've been naughty or nice. So that's the white of his eyes done, and now we're going to do the pupils and the outline. And now we're going to do his tongue. It's actually his mouth, but I like to think of it as a tongue and sticking his tongue out or else. Now we're going to give him a little twinkle in his eye. Oops. Unlock my machine first. Now we're going to do the placement line for the mustache and his eyebrows. Going to put the fabric over the placement line. And now this is going to secure it. Okay, we're now going to trim that neatly around the stitch line. I've trimmed all the way around his mustache and his eyebrows, and now it's going to do the satin stitch around it. Next we're going to do his nose. We're now going to do the buttons, and I've put some water soluble on there because I'm using minky fabric and it'll stitch out nicer, but if you're using cotton you won't need to do that. It's done the buttons, and next it's going to be the placement line for the belt. I've placed the belt fabric over the placement line, and now we're going to secure it. I stacked down the belt fabric, so now I'm going to remove the hoop from the machine and I'm going to trim around the stitch line. Now it's going to do the satin stitch on the belt. just done the satin outline for the belt, and now we're going to do the buckle. So that's the belt done. I actually put some water soluble on top of that again, and it's come out really nice. You know, so if you're using Minky for the belt, it's best to be safe and do that because the stitching comes out much nicer. The next color is going to be the decorative little squiggles on the beard. Right, that's finished all the embroidery on the body, and now we're going to attach the limbs. So the next color is going to be the placement line for the left arm. And place the arm, and then stitch the next color. And next one is the leg. Now to make sure you don't put the legs backwards or inside out, place it like that and then you turn it. You can tape these down, but I find it easier to hold them. This is the placement line for the right leg. And just place the leg and stitch it. And now it's going to do the right arm. Place it there. Make sure you don't get your fingers caught. Okay, when you do the stuffing, make sure you don't stuff it all the way to the top. Leave about, I would say, at least 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch. Now we're going to put the back on. Okay, you can tape these if you want. I'll show you how to do it. It's just so they stay a little bit flatter. Where did my bit of tape go? Here it is. Okay, that's them taped. Now we're going to put the back on. We put the back on, and then let me just, I put it the wrong way around. The pile's the wrong way. And just pin it so it doesn't move. I've put pins all the way around, and I always double check at the back to make sure I'm nowhere near the stitching line, and I'm not. So now we're ready to put the back on. Push the fabric down as you go, that will help. Right, so that's all done. You don't stitch the last color because that would be right here, and that is to prevent your machine going down to the middle. Okay, so it's all done. We're going to take it out of the hoop and cut around the stitch line, and then we're going to turn it inside out. So I'll do that now. I've trimmed all the way around them, and I've clipped. Make sure you clip right here where his hat is and in all the corners. Otherwise it's going to be all puckered when you turn it inside out. Okay, I'm just going to turn it now, and then all he needs is stuffing. Okay, I've turned them inside or outside in or inside out, however you like it. And now all we need to do is stuff him and put a pom-pom on his hat. And you should be able to see where the stitch line is here, right here. And you follow that when you close it. So I'm going to get Dave to stuff this for me because he's good at that. And then I'll show you the finished product. Here they are, all three of them. This is the one we've just made, the 6x10, and the big one here is the 7x12, and the little one is for the 5x7 hoop. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I look forward to seeing your versions of my Santa. Don't forget to join our Noni New Creations page on Facebook, and you'll be able to see all the creations other people make out of my designs. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time. Bye.